Yes. Good morning, everybody. That mic's not in the middle. It is now. How we doing? Sam here, United People's TV. And I tell you what, I hope you had a good Christmas day. And I know you had a good Boxing Day. Well, a good second half of watching United in that game on Boxing Day. But my word, that was a comeback and a half against Aston Villa. Well, it's a comeback and a half, actually. 2-0 down, 3-2 winners. Garnacho incredible. Rasmus Hojlund's first goal. The Glazers have no control already with immediate effect. INEOS had the final decision. You're telling me there's reasons to be positive going into 2024? Yeah, I think there are. I've got a smile on my face, and I think you should have a smile on your face after that second half. And there are so many things that I want to run through today. First and foremost, of course, we're talking about Rasmus Hojlund. Then we're going to talk about Alejandro Garnacho's performance. Playing Bruno Fernandes in his best position, and he's more effective. I mean, who could possibly have predicted that? Dropping Scott McTominay is going to give you a more balanced midfield. I mean, who could have predicted that? Eric Ten Hag. These players are certainly fighting for him. Fighting? I don't know what to describe it. But this is going to be an enjoyable show. And there are so many things that we need to run through. I thought it was going to be a nice, quiet couple of days off. Then United announced the takeover on the 24th at 4 p.m. Okay, great. That was a nice Christmas Eve. And then all the information that's coming out now, the SEC filing, the Securities and Economics, is it Economics Council in America? Of course, that's because Man United are on the New York Stock Exchange. There's so many things I've got to run through and try and explain today, and I will try and do it all. It's going to be a busy show. Who's here from the member gang? Let's have a quick look. Good morning to you, Carl. I've got Mark, I've got Nima, Fien. We've got Josh, Joe, Ian, Siam, Teclum, Jonesy, Linville, Kenny, Josh, you're there as always. Alex, I can see you there too. Morton, who's on Facebook? We've got Tawheed. We've got Will. We've got Cody Lee. We've got Rashid. We've got Achmad, Edrid, and Rami. Good morning to... Oh, man. And I'll tell you what, right? That show we had on Christmas Eve was special because of how incredible this community. And just to kick this off, honestly, it's like Christmas permanently in this community. I swear it is. I really like. I've still got the festive shirt on. What's it? Little reindeers. It's a nice little shirt. Keep the festive spirit up. But look at that, man. You've got Johan. How you doing, dude? I hope you had a great Christmas. You too, Chris. You too, Rack, and you as well, Calvin. Don't give the memberships to kick off the show. Honestly, it's like the greatest giveaway here, just constantly. And it's just a community. And Gungshi as well, the man himself. Can I just do... Nah, let's do one for you. I think you just like me looking like an idiot with a gong, really. I'm going to tickle it now. By the way, just to let you know, I'm in conversations with somebody who's going to be helping me with the software. I've realized I'm eating this gong so much, it's like some weird... Anyway, one more. Anyway, I'm in talks with someone who's actually going to help me with the software because I've realized it's just not physically possible for me to do everything I'm doing and have the time to. That's why the software hasn't really kicked off. I've just been too busy doing other things. JC, how you doing, man? Saying I don't want to be a buzzkill, but we nearly conceded more. Well, I mean, you are a little bit of a buzzkill by saying that, but Man United, after both goals, nearly conceded immediately. It is ridiculous the lack of focus this team has in those moments. But that second half. I can't wait to get into this conversation. Now, before I quickly do, I want to pull something up, and not because, and I promise you, this isn't because it's. I'm fortunate enough that a comment like this doesn't actually affect me, but I want to use this comment to start a conversation and use it as an opportunity to have an important conversation. All right. Somebody felt entitled enough to leave this comment on the Christmas Eve show. I think it's the first time I've had a drink on a show for, man, sod knows how long. And I thought there was fair reason for it. I don't need to justify it. I literally had like a can of Strongbow and like a couple of cans of Blue Moon. And then somebody feels entitled enough to leave a comment like this, right? Now, as I said, I've been doing this for long enough now. I've got a thick skin. And you have to have a thick skin to expose yourself everywhere on the internet. Not like that. But to do what I do, you have to be able to take criticism, and I do, and I try to take not positive criticism, but I try to take constructive criticism on top. But something like that said to the wrong person online is going to have a massive effect on those individuals. So you're an absolute twat for doing that. And I wanted to, Steve, this isn't about giving morons airtime. It's about calling out a problem which exists on the internet. The people think they can just shout whatever they want and just there's no consequence to it. This isn't me saying that I'm affected by it. This is me calling out that guy being an absolute pleb and saying you just got to think about what you say to people online because it can have an impact. Didn't have an impact on me though. Woo! Man, I got drunk. I actually didn't get that drunk on Christmas Day. I'm saving it for New Year's Eve. Oh, man, honestly. Garlic bread, man. How you doing? I haven't had any garlic bread the last couple of days. Maybe I want some. Hakan and Chris, you just gifted another 20. And I'll tell you what, let me just get this photo up here before I whip the gong out because I'm going to enjoy the next 25 minutes. I tell ye that. I'll enjoy the whole show, but in particular talking about the game. That's one for you. Edred, I'm not going to crack a can open right now, right? Maybe later. Maybe later. Who is it? It was one sec. Garlic bread man, Hakan, Chris, and Alex. There's another 3 more. Gongtastic. Such a the thing is the internet. Whose idea was it originally? To get the gong out. Can't remember. Chinedy saying city trolls, don't let them discourage you from your goals. That's a nice little poem there. It's not, but I just want to use this platform as an opportunity, and also an opportunity to say, look, that comment could probably affect somebody massively. Think about it before you're a dick. Debbie, I apologize. The gong is. I'm trying to tickle the gong here, but look, can we just talk about it? Can we just what's your sort of I don't know what's your main emotion talking point after that game yesterday? The first thing that sort of comes to your mind after that game. That photo there is it's just that is an explosion of a mixture of emotions. Massive adrenaline rush, massive joy, tinged with massive relief, and the pressures of it all. There's so many emotions wrapped up into that photo and wrapped up into that celebration. And what a moment for him, man. Like he's waited, what is it, over 1,000 minutes, I think he was. And in that first half, honestly, he looked like a striker that was shot of confidence. There was a chance where he could have taken a volley on and he decided to take a touch and pass it off. There was a chance where he could have taken a header on and he decided to like chest it on to I think it was Alejandro Garnacho. That right there, that celebration is exactly why I've given my support to Hojlund, and I will continue to give my support to any Manchester United team or any Manchester United player who I can see actually gives a shit and actually is putting in the graft, putting in the grind. They might not be getting the returns, but they're putting in the hard yards. And Hojlund has been doing that. And last night he got his reward. Not only did he get the goal, but remember, by the way, that Hojlund is a United fan. He, right there, has just scored a winner for Manchester United in the Premier League in front of the Stretford end when United came from 2-0 down for him to score the winner in a 3-2 victory. That right there is fairy tale stuff for him. For any United fan, you think, oh man, just imagine being in front of Stretford End, scoring the winner when you come from like 2-0 down, like the explosion. And that's what he said after the game. That's something that he is going to remember forever. And for United, that was a big response in that second half. And it wasn't just Rasmus Hojlund, by the way. But I'm going to go down there and see what you're saying in the comments about Rasmus, because let's have a conversation about him. Garnacho man, saying we need to keep the same 11, hopefully, but it just never happens, really. Luke Shaw going out with an injury. Amrabat, I think he went out with a slight injury as well. I think the team that we saw there yesterday, I think is going to be far closer to our strongest 11 for the rest of this season. I think when Martinez is fit, he comes in. By the way, Johnny Evans, I'm having a conversation about Johnny Evans later, by the way. I seriously am. Brought in as a sort of, not as a token gesture, but as a bit of cover. And all of a sudden, he's putting in away at Liverpool. Great. Away at West Ham, still pretty damn good, even though we lost. Hey, Johnny Evans. It just makes you sad. I'll speak about Johnny Evans later. Can we talk about Everett's halftime prediction? Yeah, we were 2-0 down. He goes, "It can't be bad. It can't be stupid. But I think if United play a little bit better, we'll win this 3-2. Yes, Evra. He nailed it. He got it right. Gungshi and INEOS, you just gifted 5 memberships each as well. Sorry, one second. Let me have a bit of cough. A bit of a cough. Let me just cough. I'm going to tickle this now. Just little relaxing, like meditating taps. That's what it is. The first of many for Rasmus Hojlund. And look, that's something that we have to absolutely hope for now. The door is open. Will the floodgates open? You can see how much the weight of Scott. And you know the thing that really, really annoys me about all of that? I think he should have had his first goal in his first game at Old Trafford against Brighton. That goal, remember the goal that Rashford, was it out? Was it in? Blah, blah, blah. Despite the fact a couple of weeks later, the exact same thing led to a goal. Doesn't matter anymore. It's all in the past. It has all been nothing but a memory for him now. And he can kick on. That's part 1 of the season done. Champions League got his goals. Didn't really matter. Now he's started in the Premier League. And I want to talk about, I would probably say the star of the show yesterday, right? Because Hojlund was great. Oh, that's Erik ten Hag. Hojlund was great, but ladies and gentlemen, gentlefolk, right wing's been a problem for United all season, right? Sancho started the season there, and Sancho, we know what's happened there. I can't bother to talk about it anymore because he's going to leave the club, which is the right thing. And then Anthony had his opportunities, and Anthony has just done nothing all season. We haven't really had anybody on that right wing who has been impacting the game from a positive perspective. No, partly. But last night, Garnacho, absolutely world-class performance from him yesterday in terms of directly impacting the game of football. I was really frustrated with Garnacho when he was in front of Rashford for the goal that was ruled out for offside. Because I just thought I know it's hard in real time. Okay, it's easy for me to say in this position here. But just to have the awareness of making sure that you're behind it feels kind of basic to say. But anyway, I think it's fair to say the Garnacho made up for it. The first goal, the second goal took a bit of a deflection, but impacting the whole game from that right side. Look, I remember at the start of this season, Well, it's happened a few times, actually. If there's going to be a player that Erik ten Hag had moved out of position, because on paper, you're looking at Garnacho and his natural position is on the left wing. So whenever it's been Garnacho and Rashford, it's kind of typically been Marcus Rashford who's moved out to the right. I think that's because Ten Hag was like probably half thinking, right, Garnacho, he's it's good on the left. I'm not sure he's maybe mature enough to impact the game from the right-hand side. But what he showed there, wow. Man, he was driving. There was one particular point where I think he drew a yellow card from a Villa player. I can't remember who it was, where he just cut inside and then it was like 2 touches, bang, bang, and then dinked it through 2 Villa players, tried to run through the gap and just got clattered and then forced a yellow card. He really, really, he was the business. He was the absolute business in that game. And I'll speak about Marcus Rashford a little bit later in the show. But to see Garnacho doing that from the right wing, to see Rashford looking a bit better on the left wing, and to see Rasmus Hojlund get his first Premier League goal, okay, right. Now, that's a reason for me to be positive and excited about what we could see in the second half of this season. Because first half of the season, complete write-off. First half of that game, complete write-off. Let me read some of your comments out down here. Deep, you're saying this show gives Garnacho any wing, he'll deliver the goods. What he did yesterday. And yeah, what it showed is, I mean, and that's a sign of a class player, by the way. I know everyone's got their every football player will have their preferred position. There will be one spot. That's where I want to play. We know Rashford's his left wing. We know Hojlund's his centre forward. He could probably impact the game from the left wing, but he's far better as a centre forward. Garnacho has shown that he can impact games like that from the left wing and the right wing, which is a serious, serious talent. Itchy nose. Whew. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. He seemed to be more on the inside as a 10 at times. Yeah, David, he was cutting inside a lot. And it goes to show he's got confidence to go in and running on his left as well as his right. It was just such an incredible performance from him. Stephen Shacks. That sounds like a street food truck. Stephen Shacks. Selling like smash burgers. So one for you, Steve. One for you, Shacks. Now I want a smash burger. Damn, I'm hungry now. I think someone sent a super chat. Let me not miss this. Hakan, you said Sancho to Saudi for 50 mil. Dortmund to... Hey, well, dude, we've got a lot of transfers going on down there. I'm going to be delaying the transfer conversations until... we've got a couple more days. But there's far more important conversations we have to have right now. I think Sancho could be leaving. I don't think Rashford's going anywhere. I'm not sure what else you put down there. But can we have a conversation here, right, about Erik ten Hag? Because something happened yesterday that I've been waiting for. What do you think it is I'm talking about? You can let me know in the comments. I'll have a quick drink in the meantime. Yeah, something happened with that starting 11 that I've been waiting for. Right? JC, you got it straight away down there. And there he is over there. There's Scott McTominay. And people have been, you know what people do on the internet. His agenda. You're looking to scapegoat him. Erik ten Hag yesterday started with a midfield 3 of Eriksen, Mainu, and Bruno. Now, a lot of people might look at that first half as a complete and utter write-off. And from a set-piece perspective, it was, and I'll speak about that in a sec. But Man United had significantly more of a balanced midfield with Eriksen alongside Mainu rather than McTominay. Now, McTominay came off the bench, and McTominay will impact games for Manchester United for the rest of this season. But taking him out of that starting 11 was an important decision for me. McTominay is better in this squad as an impact sub who can come on for the last 30 minutes of games and impact it in that sense, rather than somebody who starts for the first 60. And it's something I've been calling for a long time, and it's not a scapegoat. It's just like, I've got my eyes. I can see this is a problem. Please fix it, Eric. And I think he did. I think he did that yesterday, right? And somebody I want to speak about, right, from this game was Bruno Fernandes. Right there yesterday is exactly why I'm willing to take the stick when it comes to defending Bruno Fernandes. Right? Bruno, the first player, look at that, first player to play 5 through balls in a single game since De Bruyne did it. Most passes into the final third, most passes into the opposition box, and he was absolutely involved in everything. I believe it was Bruno who won the ball back in midfield before passing it to Rashford for Garnacho's equaliser. He set up chance after chance after chance. The work rate was there. Yes, can Bruno be a little bit, I would probably call it hot-headed is a little bit too much. He gets caught up in the moment like a fan, but he's our captain. And that can be to his detriment sometimes. Right? And that's the part of Bruno Fernandes' game which so many people are frustrated with. But the thing I want to speak about here with Bruno, and it kind of falls in line with talking about McTominay, and it falls in line with some changes that Ten Hag made there, right? Play your players in their best positions, Eric. Give Bruno Fernandes the freedom of creativity and allow him to press in what might be considered a bit of a reckless fashion, but allow him to have that freedom to press the ball and to not leave huge spaces in behind, because you've got 2 midfielders in Eriksen and Mainu who are going to be covering those gaps. And when you do that, it allows Bruno Fernandes to impact games like that. That's why I'm willing to accommodate, and that's why it's not that I will overlook areas in this game. I wish that he would sort of mature. I thought he was going to mature and sort of reduce those. I suppose that it kind of shows a petulance. Just his emotion dialed up to 150%. I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying about Bruno in the comments. But yesterday showed me, as it showed me, play your players in their best positions. Play Rafa Varane. Play Marcus Rashford on the left wing. Play Bruno Fernandes as more of a free kind of number 10 rather than a number 8 who really has to drop deep. Play your players in their best positions, and you will get a better return. I'm going to see what you're saying down here. Scott Bruno experiment didn't work. Got another yellow card for whining. He's already seen red for that, says Josh. That was a weird one, wasn't it? Who was? I don't know. I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Douglas Luiz. Ball down. Just stands in front of Bruno. Just literally on the edge of our own box. Villa concede a free kick. Bruno's got the ball down, and Douglas Luiz just decides, you know what? I'm just going to stand an inch in front of the ball. Bruno kicks the ball against him, complains to the ref and says, "What are you doing?" The referee then decides to do nothing about it. And as is the case in the Premier League this season, any sign of dissent to a referee is just an immediate yellow card. It must just be like a new rule that's come in this year. Like any hint of dissent is an immediate yellow card. So Bruno's got to know that. That's just being, you know how I'm saying it's a lack of football IQ from Garnacho to be in front of Marcus Rashford for that pass. It's a lack of football IQ from Bruno to show any dissent to the referee. You're going to get a yellow card, dude. What's the point? What's the point? Shax is saying, I think someone else should be captain. Let Bruno play his game without the added pressure. I mean, my question to that is, again, like I think we've always said, like who are you choosing then? Who are you choosing? I think Bruno would play. Bruno would play the way that Bruno plays, and Bruno did play like that before he had the armband. So I'm not sure he necessarily needs it because he kind of tries to lead by example there. But mate, that performance from Bruno yesterday is exactly why I will always defend him. He is our creative hub. When we win, Bruno Fernandes invariably impacts those games in a positive sense. But can we just talk about Johnny Evans here for a little tiny bit before I move on to I'm not saying that yesterday was a perfect game. We're going to move on and have a conversation about those. And as I said, we're going to talk about the takeover too. Man, I thought we were going to have a little bit of a quiet time here in this little festive. That week of the year between Christmas and New Year's. I have no idea what day it is. I had to check like 3 times yesterday what day it was. And I thought it was going to be quiet, but never mind. But Johnny Evans here, man. How old is he? Johnny Evans. I was always annoyed at this. Isn't like revisionism and sort of Captain Hindsight speaking. I was always annoyed when Louis van Gaal came in. Like he did like a proper fire sale. I think it was Raphael was the other one I was annoyed about. Evans is 36, 37, mate. Sod knows, man. I think it was Raphael, and I know it was Johnny Evans. Sort of 2 players that just kind of quickly got dismissed and shipped out from Manchester United. And Johnny Evans is coming back and doing that at this age. Yeah, the Raphael one, I never sat well with me. But bringing Johnny Evans in, considering we were skint in the summer, right? Do you think Ten Hag wanted to sign Johnny Evans on a 1-year deal instead of signing us like Jean-Claire Todibo? No, that is not what Eric Ten Hag wanted to do. But in the circumstances, it was the best he could do. I think Johnny Evans has been pretty damn good for us, man. Far better than I thought it was going to be. And I don't even think he expected to play anywhere near as much as he is playing. But is he taking advantage of it? Pretty damn good free signing, if you ask me. Jacob is saying, look, Johnny Evans with a class clearance last night. And look at this for a photo. Isn't this ace? That photo on the top there is Johnny Evans celebrating with Federico Makeda after he scored his first Premier League goal in a 3-2 comeback in front of the Stretford End at Old Trafford. And at the bottom is him celebrating with Rasmus Hojlund as he scores the winner when Man United come from behind to beat Aston Villa 3-2 and Hojlund scores his first Premier League goal. Synergy. That's more than a full circle. I don't know what to call that. That's a class little photo, and it's a class little fair play, Johnny, man. I think when Varane comes back into the team, when Martinez comes back into the team and Harry Maguire is fit, might have some genuine competition for centre-back places. Although Martinez is starting. That is a given, in my opinion anyway. But big up Johnny Evans, man. Big up Johnny Evans. Now let's talk about the frailties that we saw yesterday. Let's not pretend that it was all brilliant. No, we were 2-0 down against Villa at home. By the way, a very informed Villa, right? So I was expecting it to be a tough game yesterday. I apologise for not doing the Villa starting 11 video, but I'll be honest, I don't think anybody would have wanted to watch it. The mood around the club, it was Christmas. I was like, nah, sod it. Let's park that and let's just everyone have a couple of days off. I thought the first half was overall quite solid. But my word, the defending from those set pieces were just bonkers. Now, I think if people want to pin that on Onana, you probably could if you wanted to. It's one of those. It was a perfectly placed free kick from John McGinn that's right in between. Who's responsible for it? Is it the defenders who are responsible, or should the keeper come out? And it's a glass half full argument. And I have to say, right, it was pretty damn genius of Villa to put I think it was Leon Bailey behind Onana with absolutely no intention to ever play the ball, with absolutely no intention of ever interfering because he's behind Onana. He can't be said that he's in the line of sight. I was like, you little I'm annoyed because it was so effective, right? Because Onana was definitely thinking, dude, doing behind me, man. It definitely, and by doing that, even if it only goes for a second or two, made him lose concentration and focus, and it worked. And then United randomly tried to do it, and Bruno Fernandes was like, ooh. Bruno Fernandes was like standing in front of Martinez, I think, when Eriksen took a shot. Ben, look, he is a distraction, but according to how the rules are written, right there, that what they did was a loophole. I don't imagine you're going to be seeing that for I imagine there's going to be a rule change that stops that from happening at some point in the future. Because, yeah, you're right. It does impact the game. It might not, according to the rules at the moment, but that's why I think it's a loophole. I think that Onana should have been more commanding in his position there, but I also think those defenders, need to defend the ball that's getting kicked into the box. Imagine that as an idea. And can I just say here, and I pulled this up yesterday in my match reaction. Man, Eric Ramsey, man, what have you been doing? What have you been doing with United when it comes to defending set pieces and also attacking set pieces? I think Hojlund got his goal from a corner, not direct, dropped down to him, but from a corner. But unbelievable how bad Manchester United were for those two goals we conceded from set pieces. The second one was just a ball floated over to the back, acres of space. Honestly, you could have put a pin in the Villa player who headed it back across the box. He probably had like 3-4 yards of space in every direction, completely free. Not back in. Nice little flick for the goal. 2-0 down. Shocking. Really, really was shocking. But what a response as well from United. And as I mentioned earlier, this there was so much frustration in that first half from, I called it low football IQ decisions from United. Like, we all know that Villa are going to play with a slightly higher line. They do it all season. And on average, across the course of the Premier League, teams against Villa have been offside 4.75 times a game. In that first half alone, United were offside 6 times. More than an average game against Villa. It was just like, there was one from Bruno Fernandes. It was like he was on the end of the defensive line, and he still went too early. Just watch the ball. I know you got to watch two things at once: watch the ball and watch the line. But it's just, I don't know, just basic stuff in that first half. Set pieces. Mate, schoolboys would be better than defending set pieces than that. Not being offside. Schoolboys couldn't do better than that. But we made it count in the second half, though. I tell you that, and I'm going back to this photo here. That one there. If that photo isn't a reason for you to drop a like on the video, then nothing will be in this show. So make sure you do. Now, let's pull up the next talking point. What have we got next? Oh, yeah. For sure, we've got to have a conversation about Marcus Rashford yesterday. I think so, anyway. Let me see what you're saying in the comments. Didn't deal with it coming back in. I was talking about the set pieces. Zonal is too passive, says Dan. Yeah, man, whatever it is when it comes to Man United set pieces, is like, it just something has to change. Like, Eric Ramsey's been there for 2 years and we're still conceding like that twice in a game. He's not doing his job properly. But Marcus Rashford yesterday, what's your opinion on his performance? I'll be honest. I think I was a little bit harsh with Marcus Rashford in my post-match reaction. I don't feel like I was moved too much by his performance, but I'll be totally honest. I was probably swept up in the Garnacho and Hojlund displays. Because looking back at it, I think Rashford was better. I think I think the first half he was getting a little bit frustrated, hands in the air because his runs were getting ignored. But I think he looked better yesterday. I think he was actually looking for teammates, looking for passes, becoming more of a team player. Looked a little bit sharper. Wasn't a perfect performance, and certainly not when you're seeing the Garnacho, the lad in the other wing, is banging in 2 goals. But if Garnacho can deliver that from the right wing, and Rashford can build on what we saw against Villa, then we're getting somewhere. And Hojlund getting his first Premier League goal, then we're getting somewhere. Steve, you're saying second half was much better. It was okay, but miles off last season's form, says Ash. Of course it was. Scored 30 goals last year. He needs to find the back of the net to find that sort of form. What else are you saying down there? Great assist from Rashford. He's been outside of matches at times, but he was there yesterday. I think so as well. I think it's a performance that Rashford can build on. And I think we've been waiting for that. Whether he continues that into Forest away, we'll find out. But I think Erik ten Hag will probably be quite happy with Rashford's overall display. Not as happy, of course, as he will be with this man. Now, Jaden, you're talking about Marcus Rashford again down there. Let me focus on Rashford a little bit more. That was his game, counter-attacking, runs in behind. Yeah, I agree. I've really been unable to sort of figure out what's not been working with Marcus Rashford this year. It's been like a weird, not anomaly, but like an unexplainable. I think the Sancho situation definitely affected Rashford. I think the arrival of a new striker and a main man at a focal point of the team affected Marcus Rashford. But it felt like there was always more. All we can do now is watch the game against Forest, which I absolutely think Marcus Rashford should be starting. But he was definitely better, for sure. Not as good as this guy, but definitely better. And 1 second there. Is that what I think it is? Oh yeah, this was. I thought this was pretty cool actually. I think towards the end of the game, I think it was for injury time, 9 minutes injury time. I don't know. Where did 9 minutes come from? Oh, was it the Rashford tackle from Martinez? Look, truth be told, if Nana came out and did that tackle, I would be praising him and hailing him for a fully committed tackle. However, he does go right through Rashford. But yesterday, Dangor and Hannibal came off the bench to see the game out for Manchester United. Cambuala came off the bench. Johnny Evans started the game. Garnacho started the game. Mainu started the game. Some serious impact from United's academy. And Ten Hag yesterday putting some faith in some youngsters. And I think those subs, Dangor and Hannibal into that midfield for the last 9 minutes was a really smart call. Needed call. I thought he got his subs right. Yeah, it just worked in that second half yesterday. Was anybody at Old Trafford? That must have been an absolute goon. Bow was there from the podcast. He was there from early doors. I'm not sure how. He would definitely have been drunk for the game. But I'm sure he enjoyed it. I'm sure every United fan enjoyed it. Daz, you're coming in there gunning for Onana. I haven't got the energy for that from anybody. He doesn't fill me with as much confidence as I would want from my goalkeeper. But I believe that across the course of this season, that confidence will continue to grow. And in the same way that I wasn't going to be, sell Rasmus Hojlund, but no, I'm patient enough, and I have belief that he will come through. And then he came through against Villa, and that's now see what goes on with Rasmus Hojlund. And I've got that. If you've got that, I'm guessing people are trolling. They must be, or maybe people are just so quick to make their minds up. 3-4 months. Not done. Gone. Been gone. In. New one. Move on. Fair play. But remember, by the way, that Nottingham Forest game will be the last game, I believe, that Onana plays for United until February, because we expect him to go away to AFCON. And so will Amrabat and Hannibal. I think it's those three. Daisy, you're saying it's no patience. I think it's no patience as well. It's just part of society now. I want it. So what's the name of that girl from Willy Wonka? Veronique Violet, something like that. Veronica. Oh, Veruca. I thought her name was Veronica. Anyway, go and watch that. She wants it now, and I want it now. And if I can't have it now, I'm going to shout and scream about it. What do you mean? I want it now. That's a really good comparison. Great film, by the way. I'm looking forward to watching the new one. Is it Timothée Chalamet and Hugh Grant? Yeah, I'm watching that. But anyway, that was a bit of a random sidetrack. Yeah, people rarely have patience in modern football. Let's see what the second half of this season brings. Let's be honest. First half of this season, was that the moment of the season? I think kind of easily it was moment of the season, wasn't it? What comes near it? Chelsea at home, maybe? Not really. Chelsea were crap. I think it's easy moment of the season. And I'll tell you what, for a nice little bit of vibes, right? This bad boy. Brentford, of course, yeah. Brentford comes close. Nah, Villa's better, but yeah, Brentford, that's a fair one. Garnacho overhead, yep, good one as well. Proper vibes from this photo there. It's really, really good to see Edwin van der Sar fit and healthy enough and well enough to be at Old Trafford, and he's linking up with Van Persie. I think we're going to be signing Van Persie on a 6-month loan deal in January. You heard it here first. United People's TV exclusive. But yeah, that's a class photo there. That's a class photo. Oh, man. Who's that? JC. I'm Luke, I'm father. My dad's Bruce Lee. Gifting 20. Man, this community is so good. Making me do a little jive. Jive? Might be the oldest thing I've ever said in my life. Little one. Can I just say to everybody, I'm going to pop it down here. The Arms wasn't open yesterday because I had a little festive break, but the Arms will be open for the Forest game. You can join me on a Discord exclusive chat. And if you remember, you'll be able to jump on the call with me and ask me questions ahead of kickoff. That's the link for the Discord. It's completely free. That's the community home. And I'll tell you what, ahead of the January transfer window, we're going to be doing like scouting threads in there. You can get some real good information inside that Discord about all the targets we're looking out for, all the news about transfers. That's all going to be on there, and Q&As, and the Arms and other stuff, competitions, quizzes. Get in there, man. Get in there. But yeah, big up to that photo. That's absolutely class. And now I want to spend the next 15, 20 minutes talking about the takeover of Manchester United. All right, because I'll tell you what is going to be happening content-wise today and tomorrow. It's going to be a bit full tilt, right? Today, we've got our live show at 10 a.m. We're having it right now. I'm also going to be doing a video at lunchtime today on the overall positive vibes from yesterday. And I'm not just talking about that game in isolation, but I think there's lessons that we learned from that game yesterday that we can take forward. I'm going to be doing that around about 12:30 today. And then at 5:30 today, I'm going to be doing a bit more an in-depth video on the key new information that we now know about when it comes to the Ratcliffe takeover. That's going to go out at 5:30 today. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going away to see family tonight. I know, selfish, ridiculous. I'm going. I say family. I mean friends. What? It's nice to see friends as well. I'm going to be going to see friends tonight. So tomorrow morning, there won't be a live show. But at 10 a.m., I'm going to be doing a video, which is just going to be my sort of honest opinion on this Ratcliffe takeover. From all angles. I did this on Erik ten Hag, where I sort of wrote it all down on a notepad. Kind of a different video. No bells, no whistles, just opinions. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff coming out in these next couple of days. But let's talk through this INEOS takeover. And there's some more information that we need to discuss. Now, Erik ten Hag was asked about it after the game yesterday. It is positive for the club that they are stepping in. They want to work with us, and we want to work with them. And yesterday, of course, Dave Brailsford was at Old Trafford, right? Let me put that mic there. There we go. Dave Brailsford was at Old Trafford. And I suppose you saw the best and the worst of Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. Just the calamitous defending, the sort of poor decision-making in attack and being 2-0 down, and then the rallying spirit, the quality that we showed in that second half, and how Old Trafford responded was fantastic. Now, something's been released yesterday, which is really quite important, and it's this. This right here is a big old document, and this goes to the Securities and Exchange Commission in America. Now, what that means is this is the official document that gets given to the New York Stock Exchange, because Man United, of course, are a public limited company. So they have responsibilities and rules that they have to follow. And this document here gives us a lot more information on the details of this takeover. And one thing that we've been saying for a long time, right? This is what we need. We need details. We need information. And we've got more of it. And it's good news, right? And that's what I want to speak about here. There's a few key points here. All of these are written into this, as I said, this document here. So these are legally binding, right? The Glazers, well, not just the Glazers, actually. No shareholder is allowed to take dividends out of Manchester United for the next 3 years. Written in. Now, the Glazers didn't take dividends last year for the first time, I believe, in like 6-7 years. And they can't take it for the next 3. So the dividend, taking dividends out of Manchester United, was a really easy way for the Glazers to just siphon money out of the club. Is that going to be the massive difference maker overall? No. But that there is a starting point. And this is where the switch is beginning, okay? The control is going away from the Glazers. And they won't like that. You think the Glazers would have been happy to sign a document that says they are legally not allowed to take dividends out of a business that they own 75% of? No, man. They are getting told what to do, in certain regards anyway. But they cannot take any dividends out of the club. So they have to look at United differently now. It was that easy cash cow that paid X amount per year without really having to do much. That has been stopped. It's a good start. This one here is a big one, right? We know full well that INEOS, as it stands, don't have the keys yet, because there's still somewhere in the region of 4 to 6 weeks, right? There's 4 to 6 weeks roughly before the fit and proper owners test is all complete and Ratcliffe will have his 25% takeover ratified. And lots of people were concerned about, well, what happens in the meantime? This is what happens in the meantime. It is written into this agreement and document that's already signed, right, that INEOS have the final say. The INEOS are the ones that will decide what happens when it comes to anything to do with the football club, right? So the Glazers can't just decide randomly to sell Marcus Rashford to a Saudi bid for 150 mil if something comes in. That's not their decision anymore. It is INEOS and Ratcliffe's. Anything that was agreed before the point of this document being signed, the Glazers could still have control over. But seeing how long this is actually taken, I'd be surprised if there was anything. I honestly would. I really, really would. And there's a couple of really, really important parts of all of this. Now, this is going to be the slightly confusing part. So let me explain this, right? Something called drag along rights. I'll read this out here. If you read this, you'd be worried. Under so-called drag along rights, Ratcliffe would be forced to sell his shares, subject to him receiving a $33 per share cash offer from the Glazers, should the Americans decide on a full sale 18 months from now. Now, if you were to read that, you'd be worried. But what it doesn't write there, or doesn't read there, Jim Ratcliffe has a first refusal. So if, completely hypotheticals, it's never going to happen, I just first company that came to my head. If Nike decided to come to Manchester United and they wanted to buy all the Glazers shares and they were offering X amount, the Glazers are not allowed to just go, yeah, sweet, come on then. Even if Nike came in and offered $60 a share, and they would make millions upon millions, they do not have the ability to do that anymore. Because any offer that comes in for any shares from any outside investor, Jim Ratcliffe has the right to match that offer and then buy them instead. So the Glazers can't really sell to anybody else without Jim Ratcliffe giving it the thumbs up first. So not only do the Glazers not have control of footballing decisions at our club anymore, the Glazers don't even have control about who they sell to. Right? Steve, you're saying it's pretty standard when it comes. Yeah, it may well be pretty standard, but people are sitting there and go, Jim is another Glazer. Right? Which is just bullshit. Am I happy that we are in this convoluted, complicated situation? No, man, I'm not. Am I going to say that Jim is another Glazer? No. Because I'm intellectual enough to really read the details and to really study it. And when you do that, the details really come out. And something that also is happening as well is this, right? I said this, when we were doing the live show, I remember reading this and I was like, hold up. It says there that the $300 million investment that Ratcliffe is doing from his own pocket, remember that? I was like, it says there that it's going to be additional shares on top of the 25%, which is exactly what is happening, right? So Man United are going to be getting $200 million from Ratcliffe as soon as the fit and proper owners test is completed. That's going straight in. And he'll get more shares for that. And then by the end of 2024, there's going to be another 100 million that goes in. That's $300 million in total. And when that happens, you can see the percentage down there. It means that Ratcliffe, by the end of next year, owns 29%, not 25%. So the process has already started of him taking more shares away from the Glazers. And the process of him doing the full takeover is already starting. Before he's even got the fit and proper owners test model, he's already got another bit away from the Glazers. I'm really hopeful, man. I really, really am hopeful. Do I have my concerns? Yeah, man. Of course I've got my concerns. But come the 1st of January, 2024, the Glazers have no control over any footballing decision at our football club anymore. And the Glazers don't even have control over who they want to sell to. Sure, they can go anywhere and try and bring in another investor and sell off their shares to someone else instead of Ratcliffe. But he has the right of first refusal, which means he can match any offer. And this bit here would have been such a bitter pill to swallow. And you know what this does as well, right? Think about this. And this is why I think this is quite important. The whole Glazer family was completely split about what to do, right? Some wanted the Qatari takeover because they would get a big win, cash right now, boom, gone. Then you've got Joel and Avram who didn't want to sell and they wanted to stay in so they could keep their fingers in the pie and they can make more money down the line. And it was a split decision. What Jim Ratcliffe has done there by making it illegal, well, not illegal, but I don't know, is it? Anyway, they cannot take any dividends for 3 years. That means that none of the other Glazers, Darcy, Kevin, Edward, and Brian, can make any quick buck. The only way that they make money now is with an exit, which is just going to push them further and further down that line. Now, of course, when it comes to, I think what a lot of people would like to see happen is Jim Ratcliffe. I think it's Darcy. I think Darcy owns between 15 and 17% of United. So in theory, the smart play would be to just persuade one Glazer, buy all of Darcy's shares, and then Bob's your uncle. You're a majority and you have the control. In theory, it's good. And I'm not sure if inside, well, I know it is. Inside this, it states that can't happen without the approval of the board. So that's where the Glazers still do have control. So it's not a perfect situation, all right? And I'm not even going to slightly pretend that this is a perfect situation. But it feels like the best scenario we could have been in, given the circumstances. And I'll repeat those 3 main takeaways. And I'm going to cover this in a video that goes out later on today in far more detail, by the way. No dividends. The Glazers cannot take dividends out. INEOS is already in control of footballing decisions. Ten Hag can't be sacked without INEOS giving it the approval. Sancho can't be sold without INEOS giving it the approval. We can't make a signing. We can't make a sale of a player or sack anybody in the club without INEOS approving it. And by the end of next year, Ratcliffe will own 29%, not 25%. So already he's starting the process of buying up more. I don't know. I'm going to see what you're saying down here. Frank, you're saying Sam standard term for a takeover. I don't care about standard terms for takeovers. I'm talking about Manchester United. I'm talking about the Glazers, who have used the dividends as a very easy way for them to just take money out of our club and go, never mind. They cannot do it anymore. So yeah, it may well be a standard takeover thing, but it's happened at our club and it's important. James, you're asking about the debt. There's this information I would anticipate on us not finding anything out about it until Jim Ratcliffe. In fact, let me pull that up for you here. Actually, no, that's not. Where is it? Right. Where is it? Here. Right. Let me see if I can pull this up. There you go. Right. This right here is pretty much the only thing we're going to get from Jim Ratcliffe. We'll hear from him until the debt is until the deal is fully ratified by the Premier League. I don't think there's going to be any more communication on debt or anything like that until 4 to 6 weeks' time. But this is what Jim Ratcliffe said in an open letter to United fans. Right. Wanted to write to you at this time to given the critical role of the fans to the future of the club. We recognise our responsibility as custodians. Believe we can bring sporting success. You're ambitious, so are we. I'm going to run through this fully a little bit later down the line. But look, he says this. Please note that as with any deal, it is subject to the usual regulatory sign-off process. Therefore, we do not expect to speak publicly about club matters until after that deal has completed. Right? So that right there is what I'm talking about. We're not going to hear anything else about the finer details until Ratcliffe is fully ratified by the Premier League. And that's when he can speak about a vision going forward, a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, Ten Hag's future, the debt of the club, the future of Old Trafford. These things we're going to have to wait to hear from. And the only reason that we're getting the information today, which I've just discussed, is because they have to legally, the Glazers and Manchester United, have to legally submit this document to the New York Stock Exchange. That's the only reason we have this information, right? And I want to finish by having a sort of a quick conversation about this. Eddie's saying, thanks for explaining. Look, I hope people enjoy these shows. I do try my hardest. And that's on my life. Like the complications around this whole takeover have been exhausting. Really, really have. I've learned a fair bit. I've learned a lot. And that's why I'm going to be doing 2 videos on it for this. I thought I was going to get a nice little break over the festive period, but never mind. Today, I'm going to be running what I've just explained there. There's more to it. I'll be explaining that in a video that goes out, a little 10-minute short video, because I know not everybody has an hour to spend chatting with me in the mornings. That goes out at 5 p.m. today after a nice positive vibes video, which I'm looking forward to doing, actually. But go on, Jonathan, crack a can open. I'm responsibly drinking water. Old Trafford is one of the biggest conversations around the takeover and what happens to it. And it kind of depends who you speak to as to what they feel is the right thing to do. Now, Populous, who are the architect firm who are employed by Manchester United to sort of draw up plans to like assess Old Trafford, assess what was going on. They're saying, look, Old Trafford has reaching the end of its natural life. The cabling, electricity supplies, and everything is nearing its sell-by date. I would say updating is crucial, not just to maintain the club's position, but just to keep the place functional. I've got no idea what's going to happen with Old Trafford. My instinct is that Old Trafford has been left for so long without proper renovation that the concept of staying there and renovating it to the standard that is required is going to be an extremely difficult project. And I don't know where we play in the meantime. I mentioned that before. No idea. Bernabeu has been renovated whilst they're playing it, but I think they then played. Did they play on the training ground for like a year? I know Barcelona already out the new camp when that's happening. Sod knows. I've got no idea what's going to happen with the stadium. But truth be told, ladies and gents, this is going to be a conversation that we are having for probably the next like 3 years. Next few years. This is not going to be a short-term solution. This is the project at Manchester United. I've said 3 years. I mean, realistically, it's probably going to be a lot longer than that, right? Jim Ratcliffe putting $300 million into the infrastructure at Manchester United. I imagine that could be used in a short term to do the stuff that you need to do straight away. Fix the roof. Do anything in like, I wouldn't call it cosmetic, but, you know, just the quick wins. But in terms of the actual full restructure of maybe building a new stadium in the land that we own around Old Trafford, or do we build a new roof on Old Trafford? Because a new roof would make a massive difference. But how do you play in the stadium and take a roof off at the same time? I don't know. It's going to be Bayern Munich moved away from the Olympia Stadium to Allianz Arena, and it worked for them, I would say. The Bernabeu, they've managed to renovate that while staying where they are, and it's cost them somewhere in the region of like 1 to 2 billion. It's an incredible project. But the Bernabeu was never neglected in the same way that Old Trafford has been. So that is in the same. The way I look at Old Trafford is the same way that my sister is looking at buying a house, and it looks like it's not been decorated for like sod knows, like 30, 40 years. They have to go in there, and if they're successful and they buy the house, they're going to have to rewire the house. And to rewire the house, they're going to have to rip all the cables out, which means you're going to have to redo all the plastering, all the wiring, everything. You're going to have to strip it right back. And then you plaster it all back up again. You go, right, okay. Now that is fit for modern electricity demands. There's going to be so much in Old Trafford which isn't fit for modern demands. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. My point of using that comparison there about rewiring is that sometimes you have to really strip things back. Yeah, Jonathan, you're saying they gut the place. It feels like so much of Old Trafford from an infrastructure perspective would have to be gutted for it to be brought up to the modern era. And I don't know how you do that and also still use it as a stadium. I don't think that's possible. And if you don't use Old Trafford as a stadium, then where on earth do we play for the 1, 2 years? How do we cope with that loss of match day revenue? Because that is a fundamental part of our business model. And here we go. This is why it's complicated. This is why it's complicated. I've no idea what it is that happens. But we'll talk about that further down the line. And as I said, I'm looking forward to doing my video tomorrow, which is like, I did this video on Ten Hag, like my honest opinion on Ten Hag. There wasn't anything on screen. It was just me and my opinion for just for 10 minutes. I wrote notes down. I'm going to do the same thing on the INEOS takeover because I know that there are concerns, but I think you saw on the stream on the 24th when I was off my face drunk. I wasn't. I had 2 cans. I think you saw how excited I was because I always look for the positive angles. I know that, but I think there really, really is a positive vibe to this current situation we are about to walk into. And 2024 should be a better year for us. I think so anyway. Someone sent a super chat there. Let me read in some questions. Did I miss one down there? Guy Romani saying about Bruno, I can deal with the whinging if he stops giving away free kicks in the edge of our box. Yeah, they're stupid, they are. Who was it he did that against twice? And they scored from it. I can't remember. Rapid just saying, I'm pretty torn about Old Trafford. Oh, look, you're going to go and enjoy it, man. Make sure, though. If you've never been, make sure you go. But the stadium conversation, I'm telling you, we're having this for years here on this channel, right? Years. Was it Galatasaray? Yeah, it was Galatasaray, yeah. Anyway, ladies and gents, we have not had too many reasons, really, to be positive across the course of this season. But seeing that from Rasmus Hojlund, seeing that celebration from Rasmus Hojlund, seeing that performance from Alejandro Garnacho, and seeing Man United, questions about, are the players playing for Ten Hag? Are they down in tools? All that. It really feels like the biggest issue has been the players simply not understanding what it is that Erik Ten Hag has wanted them to do. I don't know. It feels like that. And Ten Hag said he changed the tactics at halftime, changed the way that Man United were pressing, and it worked. And Man United were better in the second half. Play your players in their best positions, Eric. Simplify the tactics so players know exactly what they're doing. Because sometimes you can overcomplicate things. That was a great win. That was a great comeback. And that right there is probably going to be the picture of the season. Actually, no, I'd rather it be the first one, and then we get another photo of him after he's bagged his 20th Premier League goal of the season. But I hope you enjoyed the show. That was another bumper show, but I had so much to run through, and I still do. That's why I'm doing 2 videos today, 1 video tomorrow, and I think once we've done all of that, I think we'll be ready to... By the way, January transfer window opens in 4 or 5 days. Just to... Man, it really is a full-time job covering United. And then some. But look, I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas, a fantastic Boxing Day. I know I did. I'll be here. I won't be here live tomorrow. I'll be here with a video tomorrow morning. I'll be live the day after that. And then we've got Forest on the 30th. Then we've got New Year's Eve. Alex, you're saying one final Ben Jacobs interview. I might bring Ben back on. Feels like we need to do full circle and end it. But look, I'll be back here before New Year's anyway. But have a cracking day. If you can, make sure you drop a like on the video. Big up to everybody who gifted memberships. Let me read all your names out here because you're all legends. You're all making this community what it is. Johan, Chris, Rack, and Calvin, Gungshi, Garlic Bread Man, Hakan, Chris, Alex, you gifted 5, Gungshi another 5, Innes, Steve, Shax, JC with 20. All of you, please join the Discord. Every single day, I'm going to keep pushing it because this community is finally going to get the home that it deserves. And 2024 is going to be a cracking year. Big up, everybody.